name is David McKeown. So I thought I'd talk about beer, being a festival, and all that stuff. If you haven't seen beer before, this is a picture of beer. Okay. So, what I really want to talk about is cooling of beer. So especially in the festival, it's usually ice cooling. So it looks like this. This is too much ice. I want to talk about efficient ice cooling. What's the minimum amount of ice you need? This is just pornographic amount of ice, filthy, dirty amount of ice. Just what a waste. So humans, well, what is a cold beer? We're not very good at telling what a cold beer is. Humans are not good at telling temperature straight off the bat. So there's an experiment you can do with this. If you get a bowl of hot water and put one hand in it, and a bowl of cold water and put the other hand in it, and then after a while bring it into a middle bowl with lukewarm water, the hand that was in the hot water will feel cold, and the hand that was in the cold water will feel hot. So we're not good just intrinsically at telling the difference between temperature. So if someone gives you a cold beer, you don't know if it's cold or not. Which leads me onto a party tip. If you have people coming over and you haven't cooled any beer, if you get them to put their hands in boiling hot water, then they won't know the difference. Stupid humans. What we use is temperature scales, usually. So we use things that we know, that's how we tell if something's hot or cold. So you probably heard them Celsius, Fahrenheit, Kelvin. And how you get a scale is usually you pick two known things. So in terms of Celsius, it's boiling of water, and we call that 100 degrees Celsius, and freezing of water, and we call that 0 degrees Celsius. And we just break it up into small little sections in between. And Celsius is used all around the world, except Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit is used in two places in the world, which is Guam and United States of America. And Fahrenheit, I was going to go into a bit of detail, but a bit of research revealed that Fahrenheit is kind of like a practical joke temperature scale that a lot of countries fell for at the start, but then they kind of all came around, and now it's just the last few trying to kind of figure that out, that it's a load of rubbish. And the 2 points are, I think it's temperature for horse and the metaphysical property of shame. So we're going to talk about heat transfer, and there's different ways: convection, radiation, conduction. And we're going to talk about conduction. So it's the heat coming from the beer, and it goes into our ice. Heat from the beer to ice. So beer gets colder, ice gets warmer. And heat always does this. It's always one-way flow, always from the hot to cold. It never goes the other way. Okay. So what drives this flow of heat between two places? One is temperature. Okay, so when you're buying a bag of ice from Londis, you want to get the coldest bag of ice. Okay, so the one at the bottom, so the one that's dripping wet, that's pretty 0 degrees, but the really cold one, that's better. So the bigger the difference between temperature, the faster the heat flows. Two things: the properties of a material decides on how quickly the heat will flow. A thing called specific heat capacity, and that says how hard it is to change the temperature of something. So stuff like steel changes pretty easy. So like metals, they heat up really quickly. But things like this polystyrene cup, so you have hot coffee on the inside, but you can hold it on the outside. So it has this kind of insulating properties. So that's bad. The other way we can cool something is using the latent heat. So it takes energy not only to change the temperature of something, but to change it from one state to the next. So in terms of ice, to change it from a solid, when it's ice, and then into a liquid, when it's water, that takes energy as well. Okay. So I'm going to turn to a graph, okay? And we need to make some assumptions before we get to this graph. Okay, and the first one is that the beer is water, okay, because it's easier to get specific heat values for water. Other assumptions are that the can is made of aluminium, it's 15 grams, that the beer starts off at room temperature, 22 degrees, that it's in a cooler that's a perfect insulator, and some other assumptions. Who cares, right? And you get this kind of plot. Okay, so the plot is the final temperature of the beer. Okay, starting off at room temperature at 22 degrees, and then how much ice would we need to get that down? So it turns out if we have 89 grams of ice, we can bring this one beer, down to 0 degrees, which isn't very much. So you buy it in 3 kilo bags, so it's only 89 degrees. So usually there's lots and lots of ice is too much. And then if you have 6 beers, it's just 6 times the amount of ice. And then if you want to kind of work in some inefficiencies, you can just kind of double it. So you only need like about a kilo of ice to do like a 6-pack or like that. So drink carefully, and but more important cool efficiently. Thank you.